Hello and welcome into the Piles of Paragraphs creative space. I'm Lori, and today I'm going to kind of do a little review of what's been going on with me and show you some things that I made when I was at my retreat. So I hope you'll stay with me. Should be a pretty quick video. I just kind of wanted to let you know what had been going on. So I got back from my retreat in Montana with Gail Augustinelli on Tuesday. Today's Thursday for me. Because of all of the computer glitch in the airline system, we were afraid to try to fly on Sunday, which is when I was supposed to come home. But Gail, bless her heart, what a wonderful woman. She immediately got on it and worked with the very kind people that own the retreat house that we were staying in, and worked it out so that we could have a couple of extra nights there, which not only meant we didn't have to scramble for hotel rooms, but we got to stay and do some more crafting. So that was wonderful. And I know Gail doesn't have time to watch my videos, but just in case she watches this one, thank you so much, my dear friend. I'm forever in your debt. And so, anyway, okay, we'll get all emotional. Let's get into the stuff that I made while I was there. On the first day that I was there, I went to the charity shop with a couple of other ladies from the retreat. And they had this big bag of envelopes for $2. And I was like, whoo, I could not. They had a smaller one and a larger one. Of course, I had to get the larger one. So when I was in the hotel, I just kind of, I hadn't been in a hotel by myself for 30 years. So I was like, oh, I'm up in the morning, I'm already showered, and I'm dressed, I've had my breakfast. I still had like an hour and a half until my friend Lynn was going to come pick me up. So I just sat down and started putting envelopes together. So I made this crazy thing with all these envelopes. And it was really just a fun way to use the stuff that I found and occupy my time and use a glue stick and not have to get out a bunch of stuff. So I got it all put together, and then the night before I was gonna fly home for real, I sat down and just started collaging. So I've got little bits here and there, and I had some cardstock pieces that I put in to kind of support the pages. Like this one, just kind of tucked it in there to give the envelopes a little more strength while I was doing that. But it's just a little of this, a little of that, whatever sort of bits and bops I had close by as I was doing it. But this is kind of a fun thing to do, and an idea if you run across goodness knows, though, in my house I have a million envelopes, but I just kind of wanted to share that with you. It was just kind of a fun project that I could do without having to do a lot of concentrating. Now, concentrating, okay. Well, here it is. The infamous, let me make sure that I'm on camera. Okay, good. The infamous Tea Dunk journal. And some of my rust-dyed fabric. So I put it all together while I was at the retreat. I really had a hard time deciding how I wanted to put it together. Originally, I thought I was going to do it with hole punching and rings. But those are not always my favorite kind of journals, just because I don't know what I do with them, but they don't open nicely when I do them. I don't. Other people do them and they're gorgeous. Anyway, so I took my pages, and I took strips of the brown paper that comes in the Amazon packaging, and let me move this out of the way. And so I made strips and attached my pages together. Here you go, you can see it better here. And then I just sewed them in as like I would a traditional journal. So I'm really happy with the way this came out. I will do a separate video where I go through everything and show you and talk about what my plans are for this rather grungy, chunky book. But I just wanted to give you a brief preview here. This was the first thing I sewed up when I was at the retreat, and ladies were very encouraging and helpful. My friend Lynn helped me figure out the strips. I was originally just going to do one strip of the brown paper. She said, I think that's going to be a little flimsy, and she was right. So I folded them. So I did a double strength of the brown paper, brown packing paper, and it's great. I mean, it's wonky, but intentionally wonky, and I think it'll hold up really well. So there you go. That's the other thing I worked on while I was there. And with the extra time I was given, take out the, I got stuff in there that I want to put in this journal. I actually put my Italian journal together. Let's see, is this the right way? Yes. And I was going to do a hidden spine, and then I got really nervous and ended up not doing a hidden spine. So I did the traditional 3-hole pamphlet stitch to sew it together. But it's not exactly what I wanted, but I'm happy with it, and I will be probably decorating it with you guys. But I took some of the pages from the kit that Rachel included, and some really cool paper that Gail had in her Use It While You're Here box. She brings us so many wonderful treasures. And so I just kind of hinged some things and folded some things and glued some edges down. This was a raggedy edge on this piece of ledger, but I just loved it. So now it's a really nice, substantial page edge for me to fold. I took this really nifty thin paper, typed on paper, and glued it onto some straw paper, but you can see the glue through it. So of course I'll be coming back and decorating over that. Doesn't show it quite as much on this side, I don't think. Must have been heavier handed. So just kind of put some things together. It's another great piece of paper that Rachel had in that kit. I just love that blue grid paper. This is a book page that she included. Another book page that she included. This is a accordion fold piece that she put in the kit, which is fantastic. So I'm going to make it a pocket to put that in. Some rag paper, some other book images. Oh, and so in the Use It While You're Here box at the retreat, there was some big pieces of ledger paper, and I wanted to do the over the page bookmark that Lulu thought of and Rachel had us do for one of the Roxy challenges, but this wasn't quite thick enough, so I added a piece of straw paper in here for another writing spot. You know, my favorite thing, a hidden writing spot, and it made it just substantial enough that I think it'll hold up pretty well. So I was really quite happy with the way that turned out, and I may go back and decorate it a little bit in here to give it a little bit more not strength, because I don't think it's going to tear or break or anything, but just maybe make it a little bit stiffer right where the page bends on the back, just to make it a little bit easier to use. So that was one other thing I made while I was there. And then more of this yummy, yummy paper that Rachel sent. So just a lot of folding and some gluing, but lots of folding. So I made it a 2-signature journal. I had thought about making it more, but given the time I had there, and I was a bit nervous. I wasn't really sure how I was going to get home, so I worked on that. Let's see, did I do anything else while I was up there? Lots and lots of visiting with the wonderful, wonderful ladies who have become like family now. So this was our third retreat, most of us together. We had a couple people back this year that weren't able to come last year, and that was an absolute joy to have them with us again and get all caught up on what's going on in their lives. And it was a wonderful time, and lots of talking, lots of laughing. Lots of dancing around the big open space in the rooms there. So I managed to get my 10,000 steps every day of my vacation, which is just crazy considering, we stayed at the retreat house most of the time. We did do 2 days of shopping. We went out and did some shopping. I shipped a big box of stuff home, so when that gets home, I'll share with you the things that I bought. But I was also going to share with you this idea that I use when I travel. I have this little journal, and I have just little scraps in the back. It has a little envelope here where I put little paper bits, and I have some washi tape on tags, just little things. And then when I fly, I glue stuff down. Now these are not works of art, collages by any stretch of the imagination, but I find this really soothing when I'm traveling, especially if we have some turbulence on the plane or whatever. I do a couple little collages of just stuff. So I had shared this with one of the ladies at the retreat, and she thought it was a really cool idea. So I thought I would share it with you also. So these are the ones. So what ones did I do? Oh gosh, I fly out of Phoenix because you guys know I live in the Phoenix metro area, and so we have a connection through Salt Lake City. And so on the way up, it was great. I had tons of time in Salt Lake City, walked all around, all kinds of stuff. On my way back, they changed the time my second flight was leaving, so I only had a 35-minute layover. And we had some challenges getting off the ground in Helena. There was problems with the computer system, and then we taxied out to the runway we were supposed to take off from, and then there was wind shear, so then we had to taxi to another runway, so we were late leaving. So the window's getting smaller and smaller and smaller as we go, and then the pilot did a great job, got us on the ground early in Salt Lake, and I was like, okay, great. Well, there was still a plane at the gate that we needed to get to, and all that, and there was this lovely flight attendant on my flight. Her name was I think Lorelei, and she was so kind. I'd asked her for tips for how to get off the plane more quickly, so she said, just get up to the front as quickly as you can, and the really nice lady sitting across the aisle from me was, just tell people you got a short connection and push your way through. So we got to Salt Lake, and we stopped on the runway, and I thought we were at the gate, so I bolted for the front of the plane. We were not yet. I was not supposed to have gotten up. So luckily there was a seat right in the front in first class, and the very kind flight attendant Lorelei said, sit right here. So then she chatted with me while we were waiting to get to the gate and encouraged me. And so get to the gate. Now I'm old and I don't run. I walk, and I walk faster than I used to, and that's a really good thing. But I ran up the ramp and figured out which gate I was supposed to go to, and we landed at like A41 or A39, and I had to get to A12, and they were already boarding. My zone 6 had already been called, so I'm like booking it across the airport, which I have never done in my life, and I will say I honestly hope I never have to do. But long story long, because that was really a long story, I made it. But oh, I will tell you, I was just grateful that I didn't face plant coming off any of those moving walkways, because another one of the Delta employees that I talked to on my flight up said, use the moving sidewalks when you're making it. And she says, if you're in this concourse, you'll make it. Well, I barely made it, but I did make it. So anyway, there's a story that will be funnier than it is now, although it is starting to be kind of funny. I can't even imagine how crazy I looked booking it across the airport, and it just seemed like it was like one of those weird dreams that you have when you can see where you need to be, but it keeps getting farther away. That's what it felt like. But anyway, it was all good. Got on the plane. A nice gentleman helped me find my seat because I didn't have my glasses on and I couldn't remember what my new seat number was. So he took my boarding pass and told me where to go sit. And so, lots of helpful, kind people. When I got to Phoenix, I almost face planted in the carousel for my suitcase because I Didn't think my suitcase would make it, but I'll tell you, got to give credit to Delta. They got my suitcase here, and a very nice man helped me after I almost fell over. And he said, "Here, you need some help? Let me get that for you." And he got it for me, and I almost fell over his wife. Poor people. They were very kind though. So anyway, the bumbling crafter was the bumbling traveler that day. But back now, and I will let you guys get on with your day, and I will say I hope you get to do something creative. I appreciate you joining me. I hope you'll join me again in the future. And bye-bye for now.